Tens of thousands of years ago, long before the Americas had cities or even a name, a group of people made their way into a vast, untamed land. They didn't have maps, roads, or even the wheel, just resilience, ingenuity, and an unshakable drive to survive. But who were these first pioneers? How did they navigate a frozen world and carve out a life in one of history's most challenging eras? Their story is one of courage, innovation, and adaptation, far older and more remarkable than most have been taught. When we think of the Americas' history, we often start with the arrival of Columbus or other European explorers. But the true story begins tens of thousands of years earlier, during the Ice Age, when the first people set foot in a world vastly different from what we know today. These early settlers were more than just survivors. They were innovators, adapting to harsh environments and creating unique ways of life that laid the foundation for future generations. This video will explore who these first people were, how they arrived, and the tools, cultures, and communities they built. We'll also explore the mysteries scientists are still unraveling, from ancient footprints to genetic clues, revealing how these early pioneers shaped the Americas in ways we're only beginning to understand. The Ice Age and the journey to America. The story begins over 20,000 years ago during the Ice Age, when much of the planet's water was locked in massive glaciers. This caused sea levels to drop, exposing a vast land bridge called Beringia, which connected Siberia to Alaska. But this wasn't just a narrow strip of land. It was an expansive, wind-swept plain teeming with life. Mammoths, bison, and caribou roamed the grasslands, providing food, tools, and clothing for the small bands of humans who followed them. These first settlers faced brutal conditions: freezing winds, limited resources, and a need for constant movement to survive. For centuries they adapted, learning to thrive in an unforgiving environment. They weren't just wandering. They were resourceful hunters, building temporary shelters and creating tools to process the animals they hunted. Their journey wasn't just physical, it was a testament to human resilience and ingenuity. Beyond the land bridge, expanding southward. As the Ice Age began to thaw around 13,000 years ago, pathways opened up, allowing these early settlers to move southward into Canada and the United States. One critical route was a corridor between two massive ice sheets, a narrow but vital passage that led to new opportunities and challenges. Evidence of this migration is found in archaeological sites like Clovis, New Mexico, where spear points reveal the sophistication of early hunting technologies. These tools weren't just functional, they were symbols of connection, as similar designs spread across vast distances, suggesting a network of shared knowledge. But the timeline isn't as straightforward as once believed. Sites like Monteverde in Chile challenge the idea that humans entered the Americas only after the ice sheets melted. Some evidence suggests they may have arrived much earlier, traveling along the coast in boats and relying on marine resources like fish and shellfish, thriving in a new world. The Americas were anything but uniform. Early settlers encountered a wide range of environments, from the frozen tundras of the north to the rainforests of the south. Rather than merely surviving, they thrived, adapting their lifestyles to match the land's demands. In the Great Plains, they became skilled bison hunters, using every part of the animal for food, tools, and clothing. Along the Pacific coast, they relied on the ocean, crafting canoes and nets to fish for salmon and collect shellfish. In the arid southwest, they developed irrigation systems to grow crops like beans, squash, and maize, turning deserts into productive farmlands. In the dense forests of the east, they hunted deer, gathered berries and nuts, and used wood for tools and shelter. These adaptations weren't just practical, they were cultural. Each region developed its traditions, spiritual practices, and art forms, creating a tapestry of diverse and vibrant cultures. Tools, art, and cultural innovation. One of the most striking aspects of early life in the Americas is the sophistication of their tools and art. With their precise fluting, the Clovis spear points are one of the earliest examples of advanced technology in the New World. These tools weren't just practical, they were widely traded, connecting distant communities in a network of knowledge and exchange. But their creativity didn't stop at tools. Early Americans expressed themselves through art, including carvings, petroglyphs, and even cave paintings. These works often depicted animals, people, and symbolic designs, hinting at spiritual beliefs and cultural values. Art wasn't just decoration. It was a way to communicate, remember, and honor their connection to the land. Unraveling their origins. Where did these first Americans come from? For decades, the dominant theory was that they descended from a single group that crossed Beringia. But recent genetic studies paint a more complex picture. DNA evidence suggests multiple waves of migration, possibly from different regions of Asia. Some researchers even propose that early settlers from the Pacific Islands might have used boats to navigate coastal waters. Their origins are still unfolding, with each discovery adding new layers to this ancient tale. New discoveries. Rewrite the past. Modern archaeology continues to reshape our understanding of the first Americans. In 2021, footprints discovered in White Sands National Park in New Mexico were dated over 20,000 years ago, challenging long-held assumptions about when humans first arrived in the Americas. These findings, along with ancient tools, bones, and other artifacts, reveal a world of innovation and adaptation. They show how early people survived and thrived, building lives in a constantly changing land. The story of the first people of America is one of resilience, ingenuity, and adaptation. They were not just wanderers, pioneers, innovators, and the ancestors of cultures that would shape the Americas for thousands of years. As we uncover more about their lives, we see a far richer and more complex story than we ever imagined. They were artists, builders, and storytellers who transformed challenges into opportunities. Their legacy continues to inspire us today, reminding us of the boundless potential of human determination. What do you think was their greatest challenge, and how did they overcome it? Please share your thoughts and join us next time as we uncover more hidden stories of the ancient Americas.